Okay, welcome back. Today we'll talk about compound interest. This is actually one of my favorite topics. The idea in this video is to understand and use compound interest. Specifically, we'll do some examples. This might take a couple of videos, and I want you to understand in this video, and so the next one we'll do some examples. Let's go ahead and get started. So here's the situation. You have $10,000. You want to invest for a year, and you found a bank that would offer you 10% simple interest. But there's another bank that would offer you 10% interest that is compounded twice a year. Which of these do you think would be a better investment? Think about this a little bit. If you need to, go ahead and pause this, maybe think and see if you can figure it out. Okay, so here's how I would do this. First of all, you have to know what simple interest is. So hopefully you remember that what you do is to find the interest of anything. So this is for interest. All you have to do is take the principal, that's the amount you invest. So principal, the amount that we invest, times the rate, and then times the time. And in this case, the time is 1, so it's not going to matter. And so to solve this problem, so I want to know how much I'll make my investment. So I'll take the so in the first situation, so bank 1, so let me label this bank 1. In the first situation, this bank will take my $10,000. It's going to give this back to me. But then it's going to give me the interest. And so when it calculates the interest, it takes $10,000. It gives me 10%, so it's 0.10. And the time will be 1. And then it calculates this. It goes through the math and does this. So this is $10,000. And then 10% of 1,000, 10,000 is 1,000. And so at the end of the year, I get $11,000. Okay, and so this is at the end of 12 months. All right, that's not too bad. That's actually a pretty nice little chunk of change, right? You get $1,000 for your investment. Okay, so what we want to do then is look at Bank 2. Bank 2 has a different offer, and it does things a little bit differently, and that's what I want to explain. It does what's called compound interest. And so here's what it does, and just a quick explanation as to how this works. So after 6 months, it gives 5% interest. It cuts the 10% into two parts. It gives 5% interest on $10,000. And so what that means is the amount after 6 months is going to be your original $10,000 plus 5% of that $10,000. Well, when we work this out, here's your original investment, $10,000, but then here's the 5%. This is $500. And so this means that you'll get $10,500. All right, that's not bad. But then it does it again. And so that's why it's called compounding, because it did it once. Well, now it's going to do it again. Now it's going to say, all right, let's take, so after 12 months, it gives 5% on the $10,500. And so the way the bank calculates this, it says, okay, so here's the amount, the new amount is going to be your investment of $10,500. That's what you have right now. But let's take 5% of that this time. Oops. Let me erase that, sorry. Let me take that the $10,500 and let me take 5% of this. And so you have your amount now, that's 10,500, it's a little bit more. And then 5% of 10,500, I think is 525, but let me make sure just to, yeah, $525. And so at the end of 12 months, you'll have $11,025. Now notice, this is how much you get on the one that compounds, which is $11,025, and this is the one that doesn't compound. You got $11,000. And so in this case, compounding seems to be better. And it turns out that it is. And for those of you who didn't do the investment project, if you go, there's a video that I made earlier on the investing. I go over how to use Excel and how to do compound interest, and it turns out that you do get a lot more. Well, not a lot more, but you do get more money if you compound more often. Okay, so let's go ahead and understand what this means. So what is compound interest? Well, there is a model, and the model goes as follows. It comes from this idea you are splitting things up, and there's going to be a few variables. The variables, you're going to have A, and you're going to have P, and then you're going to have 1. You take your interest rate, you divide it by n is the special number here, and then you raise this all to the power of n times t. And so this is the model that'll work. Now notice there's a lot of variables. This is actually a multivariable type of model. Usually what we'll do is we'll give you some of these quantities. For example, maybe we'll give you P, N, and T. Or we'll give you an R, and then you have to figure out A. Or we'll do different things. So let me just write down what these variables means. This is something that I will definitely copy down that you might need. So the P stands for the amount invested. The R is the interest rate. The N is the number of times that interest is compounded per year. And then the T is the time in years. Now one of the things, the most difficult thing, and then of course the A is the amount of the investment. Let me move this. A is the amount of investment after 2 years. Okay, so the idea here, actually the most difficult thing here turns out to be N. People struggle with figuring out what to do the N. And the second most difficult thing is actually using the calculator. And so we'll try to go over that, but that's where I want you to go to class and bring your calculator so that I can help you with those. But N, when the problem says annually, that means N is 1. When the book or the problem says semi-annually, that means N equals 2. When they say quarterly, that means N equals 4. And then the other ones I think are kind of self-explanatory. Monthly would be N equals 12. Weekly, N equals 52. And then daily would be, of course, we're going to say 365. I know we have leap year once in a while, but we're just going to keep it to 365 and let interest take a break. Okay. All right, and so in your problems, this will be, in the next video I'll go over some examples, but when you do your homework, this is what you have to watch out. These are the key words. So most of the time they'll tell you how much you're investing, or they'll tell you the interest rate and maybe the number of times compounding, which they'll tell it to you like this. Sometimes they'll give you the time, or sometimes they'll give you the A, and the idea is for you to figure out what they're giving you and then solve for whatever it is that they're asking for. Okay.